and fire departments and all of our American heroes. We salute you and God bless. That's courtesy of JAS Construction Sales in Acton, serving our listeners with quality and integrity. 661-269-8406. That's 661-269-8406.
The views of the individuals expressed in the following program do not represent Broadcast Management Services, Inc., KCAA, management, or personnel.
Welcome to I'm Mad as Hell with Lloyd Brock and Greg Simpson. Now, if you want to share your anger, this is the station, KCAA, every Saturday. If you're mad as hell at the government, politicians, IRS, your bank, a car dealer, or the court system, let us know. You may want to be one of our in-studio guests, or just call in and vent that anger. 1-888-909-1050 or 909-888-5222 locally. We may not be able to resolve your individual problems, but we will give you a forum to share your anger with our listeners. Now, here's Lloyd and Greg.
Ah! Hey, where are they going to take it?
You're not going to take it anymore?
I'm mad as hell.
So am I. What are you mad about?
Oh, you name it. There's
Okay.
just, you can't look at the news. You can't do anything without
Turn on your internet.
getting mad as hell. I
Talk to people.
this. You read last week about the 10 kids up in the Bay Area near San Francisco.
Right.
They found them all in one room. They'd been tortured.
Oh,
The
my
father had burned them and shot them with a pellet gun and all this stuff. And the only reason they found them is this one. Investigators began looking for a 12-year-old boy that was missing, and the boy was found asleep under the brush of a neighbor's house.
Oh, no.
And then they went inside and they found all the clutter, the trash, the feces. Everything was in such a...
Had they had other reports on this? Or
No, not at all. But
Not at all, huh?
these kids were homeschooled, and I don't understand why they couldn't be monitored.
Yeah, they should have been monitored, shouldn't they? Huh.
But it happened, wasn't that at Hemet,
Yeah.
where they had all those kids?
Sure, him. Or no, it was in Sperrier over that way, I think.
Oh, it was. Well,
Yeah.
anyway.
Either
here,
way.
Where they took those kids away from the parents.
Sure.
And they were abusing them, too. They chained them to beds and things like that, and they were all homeschooled.
Oh, my goodness.
Now, this homeschool situation, I think, I know kids that are being homeschooled, but their parents are qualified to teach.
Right.
And if you're not qualified to teach, then you got to go to somebody's home who is qualified to teach.
Right.
Neither one of these people seemed qualified to teach.
At all, huh?
I saw them on TV. One was looked like a gangbanger. And
Probably was.
You know,
yeah,
and
probably was.
the mother, I don't think, had the credentials. And yet, and some, I think it's a farce completely. They just don't want them coming out there. The ones from last year were based on religious beliefs that they could do it themselves, and they didn't want anybody interfering with their kids growing up. But this homeschooling, I saw the law. I went to the internet and I looked it up, and it could be a pretty good thing, but there's rules and regulations.
Sure.
They have to, a private school affidavit may be accessed with the California Department of Education website. And you have to maintain attendance register. Are all my kids here? Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They're here. Okay.
Okay.
You're good. Instruction must be in English.
Okay, that's good. That's a good
Well,
point.
yeah, but if you're Hispanic,
Yeah,
what are you
that's
going
a
to
little
do?
difficult,
And who's going to prove it?
Yeah, true.
And instructors must be capable of teaching.
Yeah. I think that's the big loophole.
Yeah,
you know,
provide
some people
instructions in courses commonly taught in public schools: language, arts, math, science, social studies, health, and driver training. I didn't. They dropped that one a long time ago.
Yeah, a long time ago, huh?
Maintain immunization records and personnel belief exemptions. Maintain a list of course of study and evidently you got to go in every 6 months,
Uh-huh.
or you have to bring the kids in to prove that they do have them.
Yeah, some of them have pretty good follow-up, with the people.
Well, you did that in Arizona with your grandson, didn't you?
Yeah, we had him homeschooled, and they had a pretty good program there in Arizona in the fact that the kids come in and studied in a setup with computers and what have you.
Yeah.
And they'd come at their own leisure pretty much, but they'd come and study. And then they had certain curriculum they had to follow, and they'd turn it in every week or every month.
Yeah.
And it could work. It was a good school. I liked it, but my grandson didn't want to conform, so guess what? It didn't work.
Well,
You know?
yeah.
And, it wasn't a matter of me having the intellect or my wife having
We've
the
got to
intellect to
have
teach them.
somebody designated in the state to monitor
Absolutely.
what goes on in the home and check that environment, see
Sure.
if it's conducive.
Conducive to anything. To
If
life.
it's healthy, are these kids being abused?
Sure.
Any number of things, but a welfare check.
A welfare check, sure.
But they say, oh, it costs too much money. We can't do this.
But these guys are good. They probably kept them under wraps where they probably couldn't speak to the neighbors or anybody else.
Well, that they usually, those other kids up there last year, they would only come out at night. And they play. The neighbor said, I'd see him up all this time. What happened? You got...
I got my phone on and I got a phone call. I'm sorry.
We got to turn it off.
Yeah, I don't know how to turn it off. Excuse me, it's a new phone.
You do all those things.
That's right. But
Anyway, I don't have the answer there, and if anybody does, we'd like to hear from you.
we'd like to hear from you for sure.
And our local number, if you want to call in and if you're mad as hell about anything,
Yes.
is 1
909 792 5222
And if it's long distance,
888
888-909
1050.
1050. So keep that in mind, and
Give us a call.
yeah.
I know everybody has opinion on this. I've talked to too many people, so I know everybody does. I'm going to change track a little bit, and I'm going to talk about something that is close to our heart, one way or another. And I'm just going to call it what it is: cowards. You know,
Oh, yeah?
there's cowards out
Oh,
there.
yeah, I've been a coward once
Just
or
like
twice
they're
in
teaching
myself.
school, and then that people are hired to protect our kids that go to school, public schools. And back in Florida, remember they had an incident in Florida, and a whole bunch of kids were killed.
Well, yeah, that
But-
was a big one now.
Yeah, it's a big one, but in this deal, they had law enforcement around there that could have interceded. They had a coach that used his own body trying to stop this.
Yeah, and the law
carnage.
enforcement just stayed outside.
Stayed outside.
Waited until everybody died.
And this one guy, this one particular coward I'm going to speak about, he had one of the students for 12 minutes spoke to him behind a wall and asked him why he didn't go take care of business, and he was like playing cop. Anyway, the interview got squashed, and I haven't heard any new interview from this kid. But anyway, then the guy that taught these guys said he told them to stand down.
Yeah.
But this is way after the fact that when something.
Oh
could've
yeah,
been done.
that was the main guy, the sheriff.
Yeah. Anyway, this guy, he and it just disgusts me, guys. And I don't know if you're mad as hell. If you're not, then I don't know what's wrong with you. This guy's getting $8,700 monthly pension, more than he made as a 32-year employee for dereliction of duty, for not helping our kids, for letting them die.
So he makes $8,700 a month.
A month. Now he gets what he would have got on overtime, and the way
Probably-
that formula is great. I mean, I'd love to have this.
And he
formula.
probably went out on disability, so he doesn't have
He's
to pay
out
any
on
taxes on it.
disability, no taxes, and well, he
I mean,
retired, but that's
This is totally.
what?
They should have busted him down
Yeah,
and not give him a damn dime.
he should be in prison. I mean, come on, guys. You're paid to do something. You're armed for a purpose, and you sit there and let these 17 kids or whatever the number was die.
Yeah, well, yesterday the 10 kids that were killed in Texas, Santa Fe, Texas. I mean, that's a tragedy.
Sure.
But it could have been worse.
It could
But
have.
they did have some cops on duty there with guns
That's right.
that did stop the slaughter.
Right.
And this kid was going to commit suicide, and then he changed his mind at the last minute and gave himself up.
Right.
But you've got, and the New York Times came out today that says we need more gun control in Congress. Now, why? How in the hell could that make any difference?
And he planted IEDs. He made explosives.
He stole the guns from his
stole
parents,
guns
a
from
shotgun
Dad.
and a .38 caliber. How is that going to be gun control? The parents didn't lock it up. Now that's part of gun control.
The parents
You gotta
might
lock
be
it up.
culpable for this, but that's the gun didn't think this up. The gun didn't say, I'm going to go to school today and shoot folks.
Yeah, but it's so stupid. This Gavin Newsom is running for governor.
Yes.
And you saw what he did with guns
Yeah.
and the bills and all that stuff. You got to do a background check to buy ammunition.
Ammunition.
How
Isn't
stupid is that?
That just creates what?
That's
a black
not gun
market for
control.
ammunition, right? Of course
Yeah.
it does. And
black
what happens
market.
in black market? People die.
It's just not.
And it doesn't
happening.
always take a gun to kill somebody.
So I
or
advise the
destroy
people out
somebody's
there
life.
not to vote for Gavin Newsom because it's a
Yeah.
rubber stamp of
the-
what you had plus.
Yeah.
He's worse than Governor Brown.
Oh, boy.
And, it's amazing that we don't get the phones lit up
Lit
at
up
this time,
here,
But it's true.
Sure, it's true.
These people don't know.
They just don't know, and they act,
Chicago?
these kids are protesting guns.
Look
What
at
do they
Chicago's statistics with the strongest gun laws in the United States.
know? And what they have the worst
800
death.
and some odd people murdered
Yeah, with
in
what?
2016.
With guns that only the criminals
that
have.
they're not supposed to have.
Yeah.
And here in L.A., then during that same time period, there were 217 murders.
Yeah.
Because, 500 more.
Yeah, in a
Can you
gun
believe
controlled situation. Yeah, that's it's just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, and carrying this further, when Obama was president, he had an ongoing deal on the on a gun running operation that he was involved with.
Oh, we'll hold that for
Okay.
after the commercial.
Okay, good. I'll wait. I can wait.
We all know that solar energy saves you money, but which company really has your best interest in mind? Some people buy solar and find out later the system installed ended up being undersized in the number of panels, or there are some other issues with the installation. Do you have solar questions? Then call Solar Energy Solutions, UKIPA, 909-570-1197. Solar Energy Solutions gives you all the information you need to make a comfortable decision about your very important solar power purchase without pressuring you. For the best quality solar panels and the best installation, call Solar Energy Solutions now for your honest answers. They do care. Solar Energy Solutions, 909-570-1197. They're straight shooters serving the entire Inland Empire. Solar Energy Solutions, 909-570-1197.
Thanks for waiting. Lloyd and Greg are back.
It can't beat
Solar,
Energy
no,
Solutions.
and they're going to start adding it in new homes that are built. They're going to
No,
use solar,
yeah.
so it's got to be the power of the future.
But there's no money down when you go through Seth.
Yes,
He's our solar bear,
and he is he's
and
the
he'll give
one.
you $500 when you sign up and go solar with him.
Right, before you've even made
And
a
no-
payment.
and no money down.
No money down.
Save you at least half your bill.
At least half.
Look at
That's
it.
what he says, yeah. And plus, he won't overburden you, won't give you too much, he won't give you too little, and that'll save you.
Give me your Fast and Furious.
My Fast and Furious, Mr. Obama and his crony, I can't ever remember this guy's name because I want to forget
Eric
it.
Holder.
Eric Holder. They produced phony scandals, during Obama's administration, like in Benghazi and during Operation Fast and Furious. They had a gun running operation which armed Mexican drug cartel people, had heavy weapons for the U.S.
Yeah, but they were supposed to follow it.
That's right.
And
And they didn't.
Killed a lot of people down there.
Yeah. Anyway, they said the Band-Aid's about to be ripped off. I'm anxious to see what they say, what it ends up being. I'm not sure. Maybe
Yeah.
there's an arm or a leg in there, too, that'll come off.
I want to remind people to call in you're mad as hell about anything,
Yeah, anything. It doesn't
anything
matter.
at all, our local number is 909-792-5222.
Right. And the long
Long
distance
distance?
number anybody can call from anywhere in the world is 888-909-1050.
Right.
Okay.
And we've got, I know you wanted to talk about, we've got a friend here in the studio. Dr. Sepoya is going to come on in a little bit.
Okay.
We're going to discuss the medical situation in San Bernardino and one of the hospitals, or at least there's some things that have been happening statewide with the new Attorney General. He went after, I guess it was Sutter, and Sutter Health up north is one of the biggest ones, but they've really been overcharging patients for minor things.
Yes,
But they do the same thing here.
Yes.
I think Dignity does that.
Dignity,
I-
sure, the big
well,
umbrella
yeah.
operation is
I-
involved in all kinds of fraud. Otherwise, they wouldn't have a slush fund.
We had a
Pay
call.
Medicare. Yeah.
No, I think somebody was calling in, or somebody was going to call.
Okay.
I saw the signal up
I
there,
did
but I
too,
didn't
so-
see you. At any rate, it's a big problem here in the state of California. And I had a friend that's a doctor, kidney doctor, and he went and broke his leg up in Lake Arrowhead, I believe it was. And he went to that local hospital up there, and to set his leg and put a cast on there, and he got a bill for almost $5,000.
Oh, my God.
And he said, "Wait a minute, I'm a doctor. Where's reciprocity?
where's
reciprocity?" So,
reciprocity,
why are you charging me so much? And he said, "Well, your insurance doesn't cover so and so and so and so."
Yeah, we got a
and
call.
with that, so
We do have a call.
he complained to the administration, and they dropped it to $2,400, but it's still kind of extreme. We've got a call on the line. Welcome to Mad as Hell.
Hello, what are you mad as hell about?
Well, I'm more than mad as hell.
Okay, let's hear that more than mad as hell.
I'm mad as hell at the governor of California,
Well, me too.
Moonbeam Brown.
Oh, yeah,
They have a new
yeah, yeah.
program.
Yes,
They have a new program for paroling old inmates.
yes.
And there's Walter Joseph Lewis, D01161, murdered my brother-in-law back in, almost 50 years ago.
Oh, my goodness.
Before he murdered my brother-in-law, he murdered a Navy man, stabbed him 21 times with an ice pick.
Jeez.
Jeez.
And then after he got out after 17 years on parole, within 6 months, he brutally assaulted my brother-in-law with a hammer, surprised him at a door, and killed him.
Jeez. Well, at least, and a lot of people think that people murder people with guns and that we've got to have more gun control. Here's a prime example of somebody not using a gun. They can use
Crazy
anything they
people.
want. But this guy, he's petitioned for parole. And what's
Oh,
his-
well, here's the deal. Which really upset him because my wife, she was there 2 years ago and was told he wouldn't have to do another parole hearing for 5 years. Then Brown came up with this elderly release program, so Walter immediately applied.
yeah.
And at the end of 2016, we notified Lewis had petitioned for an earlier hearing. We wrote letters of protest. He was granted a hearing for 2016-17 after years of doing nothing to better himself. He appeared with an anger management book, made with notes and other papers, admitted committing the first murder and the murder of Robert in anger. At this hearing, he was again denied parole. And then on 1/17/18, got another letter saying he's up for parole again because it's,
Oh,
it's
geez.
a hell of a toll on the family. Who are the victims here?
Oh, sure, you're the victim.
Well, how was he eligible for parole in the first place? If you murdered two people
Because-
violently, you should be in there for
applies
life
every
without the
time.
possibility.
Yeah, well,
Not here.
and
huh?
he's also been involved with alien. He was involved in alien murder while in prison.
Oh, no.
Oh, gee.
The guy's incredible history, and just because he's 70 years old, we recently had murders in San Diego. People that were over, say, one guy 70 years old. I asked the district attorney here, things are showing these older people that kill people.
Well, yeah, they should stay in there for the rest of their lives.
It's ridiculous.
Do you have any chance of keeping this guy in there? Are you guys going to be effective in your?
Well, they got to sign that petition.
Yeah.
How did they get a hold of the petition? How's that?
How's that work?
I'll sign it.
We've got letters, hundreds of letters that we've gone around and had personally signed by people.
Yeah.
Also, I think there's some people on Facebook.
Their website or something?
The Pro Board hearing, P.O. Box 403, Sacramento, California, 55812-4036.
What's the guy's name again, so we know?
Walter Joseph Lewis. His
Okay.
number is B01161.
I hope he never gets out.
Yeah. I hope your
Well,
petition is
he
effective.
said rot in prison. He's one of those
My
animals.
brother-in-law's
Yeah, he's an
wife
animal,
was in the house
yes.
for a week. I'm also a retired police officer. I carried my weapon. Boy, he burned the shoe up on my step. You know, my family was living in fear. This man.
Yeah, you're breaking up a little now.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotta get a little upset.
Yeah,
Well, I don't
we
blame
will.
you.
We appreciate the call,
We
Bob.
do appreciate the call. Thank you.
All right.
Good luck.
Good luck with your
Thank you.
endeavor.
Okay.
Okay, getting back.
Yes,
I mean, that's a
That's sad.
travesty.
That's a tragedy, man. That's a.
But, I didn't know
This
there
is
were
what's
rules on the
happening.
book that you were, if you're a certain age, you can get out.
So you just have to age and then keep your health and come out and kill again.
Oh, yeah, I mean, you can't coddle
You
these
think this
prisoners.
guy's going to kill again?
At any rate.
It's
Well,
ingrained in him.
yeah.
It's in his psyche. It's in his whatever.
Anyway, getting back to Sutter Health and
Yeah.
the situation here in Southern California, evidently this guy had cut his finger up in Northern California, and he went to a Sutter hospital. And he's looking at it, and he says, hey, they said, well, you need a tetanus shot, and you need this, you need that. And now what they're doing, the bill was over $1,500 for cutting his
Cut
finger.
his finger. Oh, boy.
$400 and some odd dollars for a tetanus shot. I mean, it's so
goodness.
ridiculous. They said that the
Everything's
prices up
inflated.
in Northern California are much higher than Southern California.
Okay.
Although I'll ask the doctor when he comes on how that would work out too.
Yeah,
But at any rate, we've got Kamala Harris was aware of Sutter's overcharging before she became senator.
Yeah, people think
And
that she's a
and
jewel,
she
man.
dropped a lot of cases saying
right.
that they didn't have the resources, they couldn't do this, and somebody I think bought her off, but
Yeah, anything with
that's-
hospitals where Catholic
And she was
people
running
are-
for the
were
Senate,
involved,
but
she ruled the opposite.
this
so.
new Attorney General Becerra, he said he went ahead and filed charges,
Okay.
and he's suing Sutter Health.
Okay.
And which is a good thing,
Well,
but
it is. It's a
he's
wonderful
doing it for political reasons.
Oh,
because-
anyway, but yeah, okay.
But it looks like somebody's going to take notice of this overcharging system.
Sure.
Anyway, we'll get Dr. Sepoya coming in here.
Okay.
Come on in, Doc. You
Come
can
on,
bring
say
your
hi.
chair.
Come and say hi.
He's coming over here, and I'll turn on your microphone so we can see you. Come on over here.
Okay.
Yeah. So we can see you. What is this? Is this a surprise to you?
It is a surprise in many ways because I have not had a chance to listen to what you are talking about. And
No, I meant the overcharging.
The overcharging, the billing.
well, definitely that's
surprise?
ridiculous.
Well, you
Overcharging these people.
You worked in emergency rooms,
I did.
and you find the prices are outlandish, or are they reasonable?
It has been a problem which has been covered several times, brought to the attention of the people who are, just like you talked about this individual where they have to pay more than what really should be. Unfortunately, this has been a rampant because it appears in most of the institutions now what has been happening that they are making people pay more than what they should pay.
Right.
Now, what do we do about it? It has to be, I'm going to summarize it this way, that I think we need to have a national health care system whereby standardization of what should cost someone for services rendered.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, that makes sense. A mechanic works on your car, and they know exactly how much your transmission's going to cost, and then for different procedures. So this would make sense. But right now, their answer to this whole thing is that they said there's people out there that they treat for free, and they have to charge the ones who are capable of paying more money so they can treat the ones for free. Now, that's not fair at all.
It's not fair to make someone pay because he's the one who has some money, to pay more for someone who should not be their responsibility.
Yeah, and they took, we got a break for a station break. We'll be right back.
KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, K292FQ Riverside, and K293CF Moreno Valley.
Ah, yeah, we're back.
I got an email.
At any rate, there is Dr. Sepoya. You're actually a pulmonary specialist, right?
I have been a pulmonary specialist.
And you studied cardiology, and you've worked emergency and done all these things. And more recently, you just became retired.
Yes.
Okay.
You were at San Bernardino Community Hospital, St. Bernardine's. You worked at Patton State Hospital, all of these. Well, what do you find? Last year, we tried to make the people aware that San Bernardino Community Hospital is being overtaken by Dignity, and they don't actually own it, but you wouldn't know that by the sign in front of it.
No, you sure wouldn't.
It would just. But what can you tell us about what's happening with Dignity and San Bernardino Community Hospital? Is it any better, or is it getting worse?
Actually, the problem is awful in a sense because when they wanted to bring Dignity to community hospital, questions were raised and say, this is a hospital which was built by the people from Hollywood who built that structure for Sammy Davis. They bought the land and they
Oh,
built
yeah, I
it.
remember Sammy Davis.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Now, the question comes, who owns it? We felt that it should belong to the people who initiated it, which unfortunately did not take place the way it should be. Because when it came in that they found that they wanted St. Bernardine's to take over the other hospital, which is Sammy Davis's hospital, which was said,
Yeah.
it turned out to be that they are not comfortable to let those people go. So what did they do? They went and got the presiding judge, brought the person to control the voting.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember that too.
There's documentation on that.
Yes. So
The Ziprick report, right?
that's right. That's right. It was sent to court, and amazingly, what happened that they stole about it. I struggled with everything to make sure that these things should be done for the community.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that was the facility which allowed the minorities to get anywhere to get care. If you were not someone of quote special standard according to them, you can't go to this hospital, you can't go to the other. So this hospital, community hospital, was supposed to be the place to go. And that's where most of the people they were going.
Yeah, and they just totally, they want to destroy it and probably do away with some of those services that they don't think are necessary.
Sure.
And don't make that much money. But see, a large hospital chain like Dignity sometimes moves in and they take over a community hospital.
Right.
And then they start from scratch and they say, wait a minute, we don't need this service, this service because it's not profitable. We've got to make profit. And then when I found out that your board chairman owned an ambulance service over at San Bernardino Community Hospital, I said, isn't that a conflict of interest, period?
Huge conflict.
You know, and I brought this to attention of
All
the
the authorities.
city council, the mayor, your supervisors. I talked to James Bromwell about it. He said, oh, I didn't know about this. I didn't know about this. The assemblyman, your senators,
Dr.
and the local congressman.
Yeah.
Nobody is doing anything about it, period. They must have so much power that they can shut everybody up.
They have done that. One of the most fascinating thing about it, that this institution was not built by a particular group of people. It was the entire Hollywood which built that place.
Yeah, I know. They did that in recognition
Yes.
of Sammy Davis put it all together, and he had a big fundraiser over at the Orange Show, and they generated
Well,
a
wasn't
lot
the
of money.
Aren't the doctors supposed to own that hospital? Wasn't that the
Well-
entity for the doctors?
It is true. When I came into California, it was so amazing that one of the first places I stopped, because I had left Texas,
Yeah.
and I got here and I was going back because I didn't want to work in Los Angeles. And I stopped. I do not know how it happened. And I ended up at that place. And the first place I stopped on the freeway, and I went, pulled out the newspaper and found out which are the hospitals. And believe it or not, it was Community Hospital first.
First, huh?
Yeah.
I went over there, and by fortune, there were people who were interested because my expertise in the field was something which they didn't have. Not even St. Bernardines didn't have the
yeah.
services.
Right.
Community Hospital didn't have it. I'm the one who introduced the pulmonary department
Sure.
in both hospitals. And I have been in charge of that facility for several years now. I was running this one and I was running there. I finally ended up that I have to deal with the community hospital because they had some new graduates who came in. But amazingly, most of them, they were not able to take care of that facility. And even now, most of the new pulmonologists, they are not really interested to be running the departments.
What are their interests then?
Yeah,
What do they want?
Good question. I would like to know.
Yeah.
I would like to know what really can be done to help the community to have services, because now, when all the institutions belongs to a corporation, that means that whatever is going to be done is going to be done on the terms of the new owners.
That's right.
Now,
Yeah.
for example, if you take community hospital as it is, that entity belongs to who? Belongs to the community.
The
They
community.
it should anyway. Yeah.
All right? So we need to bring these things back and say, look, community hospital should not belong to any other entity except the community.
Absolutely.
They should get their physicians.
Well, somebody's got to fight for it, and I know you've been fighting
You
for
fought,
years for
you're
this
done
thing.
now, right?
We even a newspaper that was local there, the Black Voice, came out against Dignity or Catholic Healthcare
Catholic
West,
Health
which
West,
is Dignity now,
Right.
and nobody did anything about it now.
Right.
They seem to forget about this thing. Even
Long
the
Beach
editors.
Hospital closed down,
and-
and they were big on that.
Yeah, well, the
They wrote
editors
a
of that
scathing
newspaper
letter.
won't
Yeah.
respond.
Well,
No.
the major problem that most of the people who have been involved into this, they have been really brought by somebody else, not the medical staff.
Oh, okay.
Because not to allow the physicians who were running the show to be present when the judge, who is the head of this institution here,
Judge McCavo, I'll mention his name, yeah.
Mention
now
his name,
he,
sure.
he did not allow my lawyer,
Yeah.
did not allow me, did not allow two other people who were involved
Uh-huh.
to be present when they are counting. We had the list of that. We were told we are not going to go, and they did their counting. They just came back, but they took the people who were responsible. Why did the presiding judge come to that meeting when, if there was an issue, we are going to take it?
But
We
that was
tried
just
it.
a management contract, right? That Catholic Healthcare West was going to manage Community Hospital of San Bernardino. That was all it was.
Right.
But basically, right now, I called, it must have been 8 months ago, over to San Bernardino Community Hospital. I wanted to talk to the president, CEO, and she wouldn't talk to me. And I said, I want to know. And they said, what do you want to know, Mr. Brock? And I said, I want to know who owns this. I can't find any evidence that Dignity Health owns this hospital. And I want to know, because your sign is more prominent up there than the rest of it. I thought this was owned by the community and the doctors involved there to serve that community. And they wouldn't respond. Neither would. Nobody wants to respond to that.
No, they
And the
don't
media
want.
doesn't want to pursue it. So maybe they're making too much money off of them.
Maybe they are not making too much money, or they are making too much money is irrelevant. The fact remains that that institution was built because someone to whom the Hollywood people gave the money was not allowed to be admitted at St. Bernardine's, and the county hospital stated that they were full. And they had to take this man to that place where the local Mexican population were working. They had a small place.
I
and
heard
they
that
put him
too.
over there. Now you look at it and you say, now tell me, why did they take away the people who were there? And why did the physician who was allowing to get Dignity to take over the institution, when they were the same people who did not allow Sammy Davis to go to the
Well, it's always based on politics and money,
Yes, right.
and not the good of the community.
Right.
And you've got to,
And I'm sure this was a race issue. It had to be with
well, at that
Sammy
time
Davis.
when Sammy Davis,
It was big at that time, too.
when he made the crash up at Cajon Pass, and they brought him down
Sure.
to the hospitals here in St. Bernardine's and the county, said they didn't have any room, but Community Hospital of San Bernardino did.
Yeah. Well,
And that guy saved his eye,
community.
and he was so grateful for that he had a fundraiser to help the community
and
hospital
put 'em where they're
survive
at now, put 'em in
and
a
do a
great
better
location.
job for the community. And that's what it was set up for.
Well,
But there's
the community hospital which was there was downtown.
Right.
If you know, one of our senior physicians who in San Bernardino is now in that place,
oh yeah,
which was the place which was originally the only space left
Oh.
to take care of anyone who was either Hispanic or black individual, if it was.
yeah.
Particularly if the public hospital was full up, community hospital, they couldn't.
Well, what would you like to see done?
What I would like to see that the community hospital should be totally separated from being an entity of one particular group for two reasons. One, they never participated in setting up that facility, point one. Point two, they have totally ignored to understand that the physicians developed that place, and the physicians who were there, they are no longer accepted to be responsible. It now becomes totally an entity for entirely different corporation, which did not allow Sammy Davis.
Yeah, well, does it create a hostile environment to work? Yeah, hostile environment for the physicians and the employees?
Well, they are now taking over. They belong to Dignity.
All right.
Okay.
Yes.
Do they have doctors taking care of patients, or what's the deal there? Are they,
They
are
have
they neglecting patient care? Is this happening, or?
They have obtained other physicians who come, but most of the physicians are in and out.
Okay.
In and out.
Okay.
Yeah, I noticed they've lost some too.
Yeah.
Some good physicians.
Very good.
In cardiology and everything else. But I mean,
That's correct.
I talked to several of the doctors over there, and they're not happy.
Not at
And some of the nurses are not either.
Not
so
happy at all.
it's just when you got a money-making machine,
It's hard to
and
shut it off, isn't
you
it?
know, it's not, and you lose the word team effort
Yeah.
from the title, and they keep saying that, you know, what is it? Kindness.
Kindness, yeah.
Yeah, they got these commercials out there that said kindness,
That's
kindness,
dignity's
kindness.
deal. Yeah, kindness. They're not
Yeah, well,
kind,
they're not kind to the personnel that work there.
and they're not kind to the
patients
either.
either.
Yeah. You know, there's no kindness there.
Yeah.
They're using that as a money grab, and that's
Anyway, we
okay.
got a break for a commercial. We'll be right back with some more stories. Dang it, I'm mad as hell.
At what?
These gall-darn solar companies keep calling me night and day, night and day.
Have you talked to any of them?
Yeah, I had 4 of them over, and, you know, each one of them give me a different quote. How am I supposed to know which one is the best?
Sounds like you talked to the wrong solar company.
Well, how do I know which is the right solar company?
Well, evidently you haven't talked to Solar Energy Solutions.
Solar Energy? No, I ain't heard of them. How are they any different?
First, they do a complete energy analysis along with you and help you understand leasing versus owning, so you get the best return on your investment.
Oh, yeah? Well, that leasing and owning part was a little confusing. And, you know, I was about ready to get out my shotgun.
Don't worry, these guys are straight shooters and will do you right. Give Solar Energy Solutions a call at 909-570-1197.
Okay, let me see. I got that right. I'm a little slow here. 909-570-1197.
You got that right.
Okay, I'll do her.
Thanks for waiting. Lloyd and Greg are back.
Here we are.
We're back.
We're trying to fight to keep the community hospital of San Bernardino, or
Keep
San
it
Bernardino
open, keep it
Community
alive.
Hospital. They
Well.
changed that name too, didn't they?
Yeah, that was the first thing they did.
But, you know, it's been an uphill battle. I took a lot of this information that you had given me last year and the year before, and I took it to the FBI, which has got a black eye now.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they don't look very good, do they?
And the guy said, I need some more recent information about what's going on over there. And I couldn't get any whistleblowers to come forward. They worked over there, and they said, well,
They don't want to lose their job.
we know a lot of things that are not legal that are happening, and we know this, but we don't want to lose our jobs.
That's the
So the bottom line, I said, you've got whistleblower protection. And I said, if they take that away from you, you sue them. But I mean, it's available to everybody. But they're so afraid of this powerful organization called Dignity Health that they don't want to do anything about it. And I noticed that Dignity was merging with that other massive hospital chain in Texas.
They have a national hospitals virtually everywhere now.
Yeah, well, they said that they were the largest
Yes.
chain in the United States now.
Yes.
And when you got that going, and you've got a CEO that has nepotism,
Yep.
his son runs all the marketing aspects of Dignity.
Yeah, he's a
and Lloyd
hospitalist.
Dean is just, he was on the board of directors of Wells Fargo when all this scandal came down of them giving phony credit cards and everything else. But
Yeah.
prior to that scandal coming out, I think it was 3 months prior to that, he cashed in all his stock.
Yeah, he did.
So, what do you think about that? And it's just, there's things there that I think that they need to be investigated.
He keeps being applauded as this hero, that's building these entities, and he left community hospital in a $260 million debt, and he's patting himself on the back.
Was that how much debt do they have? Community hospital supposedly owes Dignity.
Actually, we never had to get money from Dignity when they first wanted to join us. Right. We had, but unfortunately, everything suddenly changed because now the people who were interested, they were not allowed to participate in this. The consequence of that was that from there on, it is only the people who are pro the other entity, Dignity. They were the only individuals who were really participating in any decision making.
Yeah. Well, I talked to several doctors, and they said they're running that facility into the ground.
Correct.
And they want it run into the ground to where they owe all this money. Now, if I come out and I hire a management company out there to manage my assets and everything else, I want to make money.
Sure.
And when you continually lose millions and millions of dollars every single year, wouldn't you fire them? But there was no provision in there to fire these guys if they didn't perform?
Well, unfortunately, none of these things were really discussed properly.
Yeah, they walked in without
because
any rule.
I can tell you that one of the things which we faced first of all, if we wanted to vote to say who should be running this show, and the presiding judge takes over and does not allow anyone else, the lawyer, any one of the others who are participant.
Well, yeah, your hands are tied by the...
That means that we didn't know the loss or the gain we would have had.
Yeah, San Bernardino's got a kangaroo court.
Yeah, kangaroo court.
A kangaroo system with
on that.
And I mean, you've been the brunt of that for some time.
Yes, sir.
A victim of that kangaroo system.
Yeah.
And they've actually targeted you in more ways than one.
Sure.
Well, I took the cases with my lawyers all the way to the highest court.
Yeah.
The most amazing thing, they never addressed what we put down on that.
Yeah.
They just said they were too busy. If they want the particular document which we put in, and we send it all the way to the
Supreme Court. Yeah.
Supreme Court, you can realize exactly what was wrong, because what we were talking about is to preserve our hospital, but when you look at what they wrote when they were sending something, does not address what we are talking about.
Well, we need somebody to come forward that still works there, that knows all this information, so we can get that community back on the right track and give it to the people in the community who deserve it. That's right. Instead of trying to trash it and take it away. And I as I say, I've done everything I could to get these people to come forward. And if you know anybody, those people who are retiring and they're getting a pension, say, hey, now's your time to talk about this.
That's right.
Because, I mean, we've got, there's information there. Every single year, these hospitals, they have a slush fund, a lot of them do, for medical malpractice. And that's, if you set up a slush fund for medical malpractice, knowing full well you're going to be sued down the line
and you're going to
for
have
this,
the money to pay it,
that says something's wrong with the system.
It sure does.
So I don't know. I don't have the answer. But
anyway, if there's anybody out there that knows these answers, that knows where the skeletons are buried, or knows, come forward here. We'll keep
ask your politicians who are coming up for election. We've got they're getting a new mayor in San Bernardino that might be able to do something.
Sure.
We've got, as I say, in November we've got all the elections. I doubt if we're going to get a new congressman, and he doesn't want to do anything. I brought it to his attention. It's Pete Aguilar, and I brought it to his attention several times. He doesn't want to do anything about it. And they won't even respond. You know, I said, look, you got to look into this thing. You've got to investigate it. And, you know, he could just as a congressman, he could go down there and he said, "Hey, wait a minute, where there's smoke, there's fire."
That's right.
I want an accounting for everything here,
Absolutely.
and see where this money is gone,
Yeah.
what you're doing. Let's canvass the personnel,
Yeah.
and not only the ones on top. I mean the people that are help running the place that make it
Sure.
smooth. And I think that you're going to find a lot of dissatisfied employees.
Yeah, I'm sure of that.
I hope
Somebody
it
like this Becerra guy that is taking a stand forward to prosecute.
Well, yeah, he's doing it now because
Well, Kamala Harris did nothing but cover it up and what have you. Now she may be our first woman president.
see, that's the problem with all this politics.
That's right. And
That's
this guy Becerra, maybe he could step forward and do something. It doesn't take a genius or a
Well,
president.
he's
to
doing
do
it now, but I think your friend, the
political.
doctor that had that a suit going against Dignity, and they turned him down because
Yeah.
Kamala Harris said, "We don't have the resources." And he
Resources,
said,
yeah.
"All I want is permission to sue.
That's it.
What resources do I need?"
That's-
And they didn't do it.
That's exactly one of the major problems which has been really surrounding this neighborhood.
Yes.
We have given away the things which were ours when originally we didn't have it. It was nowhere to go. If you went to the county hospital, if it was full, tough luck.
Yeah.
Now this entity was built because Sammy Davis didn't have anywhere to go except to do that, and
Yeah,
the Hollywood people came. Now the sad part about it, what really is so sad about it, that these people are no longer involved in making sure that that original founding people have a place, someone
Well,
to
they
accept.
lost sight of the goal. The goal was to make it an outstanding hospital, and it was at one
for
time.
medical care, not for anything more.
And, they lost sight of that. But
Sure.
our medical situation in the United States is kind of
messed up
yeah. It's
everywhere, not just
I
here.
see it all the time. I just had a procedure done, by the way, that it was called a cardiomens.
Yeah.
And they put in in my artery here, they put in a little device to where they can monitor blood pressure, the pressure and fluids on a daily basis. I just lay down on a pillow and it sends it there. Now, I got the bill the other day from Medicare, and I said, "What? $211,000?" And I
That's
said,
all?
"Well, that was the original bill. It took them 45 minutes to do the procedure, and $211,000. Medicare paid, I believe, $36,000. My secondary insurance will pay 20%, but still,
That's pretty high.
this
isn't it?
device. I mean, it's a little piece of electronics that goes in there without a battery. The pillow didn't cost that much, but then they got to monitor it every day. And I wonder what that monitoring is going to cost. But costs are too extreme.
It's terrible, yeah.
Nobody can afford them.
That's one
I was
of
going
the
to say if you're
major
bacon
problems.
those, so.
That's the major.
Well, yeah.
I mean that's a
No.
good.
I mean,
part.
I didn't pay for it, but,
Yeah, I know.
but that's not the point.
Not the point,
Briefly, I can tell you something. I've been in various areas about medicine.
Yeah.
I worked in Tel Aviv.
Okay.
From there, I left because we had a character who was stupid from my country, who was doing something, and I decided to leave because I didn't want to be
Idi Amin?
embarrassed.
Yeah, I remember Idi Amin.
Yeah, we remember that.
He was not only stupid, he was a murderer.
Yeah, and
Now,
cannibal.
I left, and lo and behold, I went to Great Britain.
Yeah.
And while I was there, they called me to be one of the leaders of the people from my country who were in Europe, Great Britain. Amazingly enough, when they asked me on the second year, I was appointed as number 3.
All right?
And while I was there, I walked in someone who knew me, called me to talk to him, and I went over there, and lo and behold, that gentleman was upset.
2 minutes.
because I had called that Idi Amin was a buffoon.
A buffoon. Well, he wasn't only a buffoon, he was corrupt. I mean, everything about him, he a murderer, mass murderer.
I want to take 1 minute and thank this lady. Her name is Sue, and she has a business called Sue Sites, and she's into global communications, computers, and what have you. She's living in Blythe, which is out nowhere, so I want to give her a little plug. She's at 200 West Hobson Way. Her number is 760-921-9156 or 760-922-4421. And she knows everything there is to know about computers, fixing phones. You can get your copies there. Anything done there. Sue Sites, this is for you.
Okay, and I want to thank Dr. Sepoya for coming on and give us updates. And
Thank you.
you're welcome
Thank you,
anytime.
Doctor. Anytime.
To come back and give us more updates.
Yes.
Good luck on that. Until next week, stay mad as hell.
That's it. Next week we'll have some good stuff for you guys. Please tune in. Call if you know anything about corruption. Call if you know anything about anything. You know, we'd like to hear from you.
Well, they're not stupid.
Yeah. There you go. Thank you.
KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, 106.5